guys, and welcome to CPL Fever. It's your host, Jack and Andrew Murray here, and what we thought would be fun, we've recently been thinking about all the amazing fans in the league and how the fans are the 12th fan and how the fans really make this league special. So what we thought would be fun is if we interviewed the fans, and we would call this little segment, The Fans That Make the League. And for me, one of the biggest fans out there is Missy Searl, also known as Mama Searl. So how are you, Missy?
I'm great, Jack and Andrew. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. And I remember the first time I met you, I was a ball boy and you were always in the stands. I was always in front of you. And I always loved your passion, like for the game and your enthusiasm.
I have video of you turning around and looking at us like, well, these people are crazy. And I had to tag your mom and share them with her, because after I met your mom, I was like, okay, your mom has got to share these videos with Jack, because Jack is like, whoa, these people are intense.
Yeah, I wasn't used to having so many people like right there shouting at first, but then I got more used to once I knew what to expect from the fans, from these.
Yeah, I think we started to cheer for you too. So, no, we'll be back. We'll be back.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're just gonna be playing like some games, and then we're gonna come back to our home markets, and then everything will be splendid.
Agree.
Yeah. So, one of our first questions for you is, how did you fall in love with soccer? And then after you answer that, I also want to know, how did you find out about the Wanderers? How did you become like the Wanderers super fan?
So I fell in love with soccer because I have the privilege of being a military brat, and we lived overseas in Germany, and where our military quarters were, we were actually beside a whole stadium. So, you know, we'd be sitting in our living room and you could actually hear the fans cheering. And so it was like a 2-3 minute walk away, and we would go over to this massive stadium, and we could just go in and watch whoever was playing play. And it was just the greatest experience. Seeing football in Europe it's amazing. You know, I only had the opportunity to see it, of course, in Germany, because, you know, I was younger. We never really traveled around for football per se, but to have a stadium minutes away, it was pretty awesome. And so, of course, living over there, the sports that children are geared to play, it's not so much like basketball and American football. It's football, soccer, tennis. So those are like sort of the sports that we were kind of pushed into playing. So so that's how we kind of like ended up basically just falling in love with the game. Like, you know, my dad's almost 80 years old, and he watches everything. And Chris lives with my dad, so Chris watches everything. So the two of them get going, and I'm an outsider. So it's a family, it's always been a family loved sport. So yeah. And the Wanderers just kind of, for years and years and years, they're talking about putting a Canadian football stadium here. And we're like, no, my kids have been in soccer for, 27 years. And I was just like, this province has like this massive amount of football clubbers, and there's just no way that we can go with with the Canadian Football League. We need to go with soccer. So we were like, there was lots of rumbles and stuff, and then Chris was telling me about some groups and that were together and talking, and then Daniel went to a game, and he said, Mom, I found the perfect seats. If it happens, I found the perfect seats. And then all of a sudden I get this email, because it was like an interest email, and hey, tickets are for sale. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like, it was like Christmas I think it was September. I think it was September or October I bought these tickets. And I was floored that this was actually going to happen here in Halifax. And super, super excited. And now my brother is is acting the same way that I am, because now they're going to be getting one in Saskatchewan, and the stadium for him is the same. It's like 5 minutes away from where he lives. So he's like, everybody in Halifax, come and camp out in my backyard for games and stuff, right? So it's just, this is the sport we grew up with. So we're super excited.
Yeah, I bet it must be like you said, so amazing to finally have like a league here after you grew up like immersed in soccer. But something that I always wanted was to have like a professional league here, and I thought it was so cool that we had one, and especially since Nova Scotia was like so small, I didn't think that we would be one of the first teams to get one if we were going to get a club, but turns out we did.
Exactly, because we're the East Coast and the Atlantic Coast, I should say, and nobody ever thinks of the Atlantic Coast. I mean, look how we get concerts, for crying out loud, so.
Well, we got IKEA back. We got IKEA back. Right?
That's right. Yeah, we got IKEA back.
That only took like a decade or something.
Oh, you know what? I literally threw out my last IKEA table just before IKEA started, and I bought that table in 1987. So it's like, yay! So here we are now with this, with this beautiful stadium. I absolutely adore it. I love the authenticity of it. I love that it's grass. I love that it's like hodgepodge put together with, with these cargo trailers. You turn it, like, it's just such a cool space. It's a beautiful venue. It's a great spot. And, fingers crossed we're at this for a long time.
Yeah, and it's also a fantastic location too. It's just close to everything, and there's even a little bit of parking somehow. And if you get there early, you can just take a walk in the public gardens. I mean, it's unbelievable, really.
It really is. It's the perfect spot. Like, there's no other spot to put that. They cannot move that. you
Right.
know. So, yeah.
Yeah, the Wanderers ground really is the perfect stadium for them. And I was gonna ask you, like, on match days when like you're going to the grounds, do you have any traditions that you like to do?
Well, because 2020 was our lovely pandemic. So in 2019, I actually used some vacation time for some of the games to get off a little early. I actually took my whole outfit to work and hung it up in the hanger in the closet. Met the boys either at the ferry, we ferried across and walked up the hill. A few times we got to walk to do the march to the match. We had that opportunity a few times, just depending on our schedules. And it was just a whole lot of fun. Making sure I'm posting about match day on my social media, so everybody knows, because I'm crazy in blue. And just blue bracelet, blue earrings, blue everything. Just crossing fingers and hoping that if we're all wearing the blue and the turquoise, that it's going to give them that energy.
Yeah, for my computer, I actually have a turquoise mouse, and here's my blue Sharpie that I use to do my notes for like pre-game press conferences. Or cool. Yeah, so we both have blue stuff.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I also got this yesterday, which is also blue.
Oh, you got the new cookbook?
Yeah, we just we were able to meet Denton somewhere in the city, because I play in the city sometimes. Have you gotten yours yet?
No, I have to order 3.
Oh,
because I always order for the boys as well. So just have to connect with Denton.
Yeah. This year I was sure to get it. I was sure to order it or get it really early, because I really wanted for the season. So I was when are you around? And then he said he was around on the same day that I was actually going to the city. So it's just perfect, actually.
Worked out.
Yeah.
He's done a great job.
Yeah, he really has. He mentioned to us that this year it was so tough because he had to get them all the copies done for the players before they left.
Oh, gee. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
The timeline got moved up on it a bit. So
wow, I didn't know.
So, but yeah, Jack's got an article in it, so that's
Perfect.
interesting.
Mhm.
So how did you get into the whole gig of like cooking for the players? Like, we love food, so you know, I like anything related to food, any question, you know, just put me up.
It just kind of happened. We were watching one match, and I think it was Mo. Mo came over, and we were all like screaming and cheering, and I just kind of yelled out, "I'll cook you food." And you don't really pay any attention to that. I'm a crazy fan, and I'm screaming, "I'll cook you food." And then we got into the that meet and greet that day. Actually, I think that was one of the days I actually met Jack, when we were getting our flags and shirts signed. And
Yeah.
Zoom was there, and because I would always scream his name, Zoom, and he would laugh at me. And so I said, "Hey, let me know when you want me to cook you food." And he was like, "Okay," but that was it. And then all of a sudden, my social media DMs were like, "Hey, I'm good for Sunday." I'm like, "Okay." It's like, "How many people are you bringing with you?" And he's like, "Oh, just one." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And then my Chris had been talking with Chris Insa, and he was like driving back from Montreal, and Chris said, "Well, just come to my dad's place." And I was like, "Okay." So that's three. And then all of a sudden they all came, and there was four of them. So I was like, "Okay, whatever." We always cook a lot of food. But I just, again, as I was, saying about being a military brat, we grew up away from family. And so my parents had always invited people to the home that couldn't go back to Canada on leave, or when we lived in Canada, couldn't go back home on those leaves for Christmas and Easter and such, because they just didn't have the time off. So my parents, I literally laugh, because it wasn't until I became an adult that I was actually eating at the big table. I was always ushered off to eat in
on the card table or something.
Right, the card table was always my table for festivities.
Yeah.
Because my parents' table was literally surrounded by young military guys who just couldn't go home. And so I know that, like, my mom has passed on, but I know that had my mom been here, honestly, this would have been her tradition. Like, this is something my mother would have said, "Oh my gosh, we should have them over to eat." And so it just kind of happened that way. And then next thing you know, they came for my father's birthday, and met my dad's siblings, and chilled. They met my boss with Curated Halifax. He brought over a keg of beer, but none of them would touch it. And like, you do it up here in Nova Scotia. And so, and then I think we did Thanksgiving last year with Jan, Akeem, and Alex before they all left to go home. And so it was kind of cool, because it's like first time for turkey. That's the other part that's really cool, is introducing people we wouldn't normally have. And so it's just, so it just became a passion to, make sure that these guys don't feel like they're far away from home, and that somebody wants to cook them home cooked meal. And, unfortunately, this past year it's been delivery, and not, coming and sitting down and eating. So hopefully, hopefully we'll at least all be able to have, be under the same roof like we kind of were with Dirty Nellies in September last year.
Well, that's such a good example of example of compassion, I guess, in the world. Just that story about your parents and how they started that tradition. Now I'm just wondering, do you have like a Bluetooth mic or something on? Because you're kind of starting to cut in and out a little bit.
I don't. Do you want me to put my headset on?
Sure.
But good. I'm glad you can hear me better. That's perfect.
Yeah, and
right.
I just wanted to ask you a question, jumping away from the Wanderers for a bit. I know you've talked to me about some of your favorite players. You actually gave me this, which I still have for like Euro Cup. I actually like bring this out like from the drawer and like have it like near me for like the Euro Cup. Like,
I love it. I love it.
Who are some of your favorite players that like aren't on the Wanderers and just in like world football in general?
Well, it's funny because with that question, you know me, I'm right to the boys. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to be honest with Jack, and they're like, oh gosh, Mom, that's what an interview is about. So I'm like, okay, all due respect, I don't follow world footy as much as the men in my family, simply because I can't pick a team against the other child. So I just kind of moved away. And then like when we would watch, like, Chris was England and I was Spain, Daniel was like Brazil. So it was green and yellow, red and red and yellow. Like we just had crazy colors in the house. And so after Mordientes, I just kind of really pulled away from really having players that I followed. And I just was kind of like through osmosis through the boys, like Beckham or Rooney. And like, it was just, those are the, the defenders and the midfielders that they would follow. And like Daniel was like Thierry Henry, right? Like that's, his all-time favorite kind of thing. So I'm just kind of like the mom, kind of just brought into who's the players. And I guess you could say I was Switzerland. when it comes to any sport in my house, because they all like different football teams, they all like different soccer teams, they all like different hockey teams. So I've just always just been the supporter of whose team lost, and whoever's on the screen, and I get to enjoy them. But yeah, so not one individual person do I really ever follow. I have to say though, like with the Wanderers, I try not to pick them all, because I like to respect them and not say, oh, he's my favorite. But somebody who I really did fall in love with his style of play was Andre Bona. I mean, I know he's not with us anymore as far as playing on the team, but personally, he and I've made a connection. We constantly are speaking, via, if it's via DM or whatever, but we do keep in touch. And there was just a style about his way of playing and corralling the other players, and just, to watch this tall player just always running straight up, like just, he always ran so tall, and just I always found him to be in control of his game. And I really loved watching Andre play, and I really loved how he worked with his teammates, and I miss him. And so he's really one of the players that I really, really came to like and enjoy on the squad. But yeah, favorite Wanderer right now, I'm not going to say, because I feed them all, and they might think, oh, you got 5 pieces of chicken, I only got 2. So I'm not gonna say who's my favorite right now.
Okay. Fair enough.
And now as well, I don't know if you saw my post, I won't put anybody's name on the back of my jersey, because every jersey name that we've put on is no longer with the team. So we're not putting names on our jerseys this year until the season is over, because I feel like I'm some sort of a name jinx. So I'm not going to do that either.
That actually happened to me too. So I actually I got, for the first year, I got Gutierrez, and then he left, and then I couldn't believe that. And then Daddy got like a Wanderers jersey, for the Island games, and he got the Careless, and then he left. So we've just decided we're just not gonna.
Oh, it's crazy, right? I spent money on a frame to frame a jersey with a name. Gone. You know how much those jersey frames are? They're expensive. Yeah. So yeah, not doing that anymore. But it was the inaugural year, so it's kind of like a souvenir anyway. So it's okay. But I'm not doing it anymore.
So who do you think on the Wanderers is maybe like a diamond in the rough that people might kind of be overlooking, maybe a casual fan that might not be aware of?
Well, I actually think it's 2 Nova Scotians. I think it's 2 locals. I think it's Jake Ruby, and I think it's also Scott Firth. I think with Scotty, he is like he loves to be on that field, and when he has that opportunity to be out there, he is valuable. He, you can see the passion. He's in that play. I mean, he's midfield, so he's totally in that play, and he's had some great opportunities that that we got to witness in person. Sadly, I felt that he was underused last year, but again, that's probably my opinion. I'm not sure if I voiced it before to Stephen Hart, but I think I might have said it in another interview, but I really think he wants to play. He wants to be on that pitch, and he wants to help his teammates. And Scotty, for me, is a diamond in the rough. And and Jake he's a solid defender. So if we've got Scotty and Jake even on the same line, I think we would do some serious damage, and they're local. So they would have like the whole stands behind them. So there's that crazy energy of all of us pushing our players forward. So I think thinking about not only they're playing on the field, but also the support that comes with them is something that they should think about when playing them, because it's true. When you're home, you play so much better. So yeah,
I think that Scoffers should play more, like, just because I think Jake Ruby plays. I would like to see him play more, but for Scoffers, I think that he needs to play more. I just think maybe if like they played him a bit more, he could shine a bit more. But I think that maybe they're going to play more this season, now that it's like not a tournament, and now that he's grown more and he's been with the team for 2 years. I'd expect Stephen Hart to play more.
I sure hope so. I do. I really do.
Yeah, he's got a great touch, and he actually went to the same academy that Jack goes to now.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, and he's really, really talented.
Mm-hmm.
And humble.
Yeah, he really is. And we are actually getting to around the 30-minute mark, which I told you about, I think. So how about we go into the rapid fire real quick, and then we will let you go, okay?
No worries.
Do you play FIFA?
No.
Okay. Do you have a pet?
Not anymore. Max passed.
Oh, well, he sounds cute.
My pug.
Oh. We thought about getting a pug, but then we got a German Shepherd. What has been your favorite thing to cook? What's your signature dish?
Oh, my signature dish. Oh my goodness. Honestly, Jack, I just take a recipe and I play with it. But my signature dish is definitely coconut chicken.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds good. Like coconut chicken, like
lemongrass, curry, coconut, milk, sweet potatoes. It's really
that sounds so
I was
good.
talking to someone, and I wanted to try it. They told me that in Jamaica they cooked a whole chicken in coconut.
I do.
That to me just sounds like, oh, I want to try that. I want to try to pull that off.
I've cooked it for the boys.
Wow, okay. That sounds so good, because we actually have a chicken coconut curry recipe, but I think that if what Daddy said, if you did that, that'd be just so cool, and we'd love to try that sometime.
I will send the recipe.
Okay, awesome. Now, thank you, Dad, for sending me my rapid fire questions. I was blanking. Okay, so what's your five-a-side dream team?
Okay, Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, Aaron Ramsey, Wayne Rooney, and for goalie, Buffon.
Ooh.
Nice. I think on the show you are the fastest person that's ever answered that. So
I did a little thinking on that.
If you have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be?
So right here is an autograph from Jamie Oliver. I actually got to cook with him.
Oh.
So
wow.
I want to sit down and actually eat dinner with him and his family. So that's who I want to eat lunch with.
That'd be awesome. What's your hidden talent?
I have a million talents, but believe it or not, actually sing when nobody's
Oh,
looking.
cool.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Is that kind of like if a tree falls in the forest? Does it really?
Exactly. I'll
Gotcha.
record myself and
Okay.
play myself back and go, damn, that was really good. And I'm a rock chick. That's something that nobody knows. I like rock music. Classic rock.
Okay.
Like Motley Crue?
No, like Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
All right, gotcha.
classic rock.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
What is something that you've learned about yourself in this past year?
So in the pandemic, I have learned that I actually do like to be alone, that I do like spending time with myself, and just being, so I've actually picked up my meditation game. I've picked up my journaling game, all of those things that I had no time for. I realized that it's really easy to have that time. So yeah, it's something I've really learned about me.
Okay, nice. I like meditating with crystals sometimes. I like trying to connect with my spirit animal, which is a wolf, by the way.
My old one.
Oh, cool.
It's my old one. We're not anymore. He's actually moved on to my brother, but yeah, I'm now Crow.
Oh, okay, interesting. My mom is actually also is a wolf. My middle name is Lowell, which means little wolf cub. And this was my mom and dad's first engagement ring when they didn't engage. Well, they technically didn't say no. They just didn't say yes.
I love it.
And they never found out when to do it. So they called it off and then they got engaged again. And this actually has your wolf in it and they gave it to me. So yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And where is your happy place?
Cuba.
Okay, cool. I've seen like you post about Cuba before.
My favorite place.
What is one superpower that you'd like to have?
Healing.
Oh, that's like awesome. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have said that before. I do like Reiki. I think maybe I've told you. So like
Yes.
it's the Japanese healing method with like energy. So I think so that's pretty cool.
Therapeutic touch is insane. I love it.
Yeah, everyone in my family is either a level 1 or level 2 in that. Yeah, I'm a level 1 and I haven't gone to go like to do like another test level because of like COVID. But when that clears up, hopefully that I should be able to do that. Now, what's your most used emoji?
Toss up between the smiley face or the thumbs up.
Okay, cool. Where is one place in the world you'd like to visit?
Barbados.
Okay.
It's my mother's fatherland. So it's where my great grandfather is from, the Adams side of my family.
Okay, cool. And Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, or Puma?
None.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Chucks, baby, Converse.
Okay. Cool. I think you're the first person that's ever answered like that. I like that.
I have my own hashtag, Missy and her Chucks.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Are you a morning or a night person?
Both.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
So you're an early bird and a night owl.
Yes.
Well, actually, what's interesting is Daddy's an early bird. I'm a night owl.
I can get up early and then the wall is like literally after supper, I'll hit the wall, watch Coronation Street, be rejuvenated, get up, do laundry, do dishes, whatever. And then I'm chill until like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Okay. And what are 3 words to define you?
A friend, a mother, and caring.
Okay. Yeah, I see those in you. Like we've talked a lot, so I definitely see those in you.
Thank you.
And this is my last rapid fire question for you. So what are your goals for the future?
Oh dear. So COVID has really spun us. So I've kind of pivoted. I mean, I do have a full-time job, but I also have a job, like I was saying earlier, where I've been doing small business support with people and helping them through COVID. So my goal in the future is just to continue to help people advance their businesses and to keep being happy and enjoying life, because it's way too short. We should everything should just not be stressful. It should just feel like, you know, we should get on with it and just enjoy it. So yeah,
that's great advice. It's so much easier to be happy than angry and upset.
You use more energy being upset.
Exactly. But that was my last rapid fire question for you, Missy. So thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed talking with you again. And hopefully we'll be able to see each other at the Wanderers ground sometime. Or fingers crossed the Wanderers will do well and rebound with the win. So thank you so much for coming on, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Bye.